Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Municipality of Thames Centre. The date is February 26th and 2024, and we are located in the Municipal Office Council Chambers at 4305 Hamilton Road, Dorchester, Ontario, and it is 4:59 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. I don't believe there are any additions to the agenda. So at this point, I'd like to call for an approval of the agenda. So I will need a first and second. Councillor Heeman and seconded by Councillor Lockie. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Councillor Lockie?
I declare pecuniary interest for item 7.1 due to my employment at Advanced Drainage Systems.
Okay. Anyone else? Councillor Heeman?
I declare a indirect interest with respect to item 7.2, item number Z35-23. As I am primarily employed by a market garden operation within close proximity to the planning proposal.
All right, thank you. That's it then. Okay. Announcements. I do have one very brief. Here in Thames Centre, we believe everyone, young and old, has the power to create change. This coming week, Wednesday, February the 28th, is Pink Shirt Day in many parts of our country. So we, as staff and council, encourage our residents to do what we can to elevate the voices of all and take a stand against bullying. We can show others that we advocate for kindness and inclusivity by wearing our Pink Shirt Day apparel. We encourage you to help spread the awareness for this important cause, not only in February, but throughout the entire year. All right, so we will move on to presentations and the delegations. None. So the planning meeting, item number 7 on your agenda. A motion that council adjourn its regular meeting at 5:02 p.m. and move into the public meetings pursuant to the Planning Act to consider applications listed on the February 26, 24 agenda. A mover and a seconder, please. Tom and Danielle. Okay. The first, right. Oh, sorry. All in favor? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll start with item 7.1, application for draft plan of condominium 39T-TC-C, CDM 2304. Excuse me, it's listed on your agenda. The purpose of this public meeting is to obtain feedback from the public. The Director of Planning will provide a subsequent report evaluating the said applications with a recommendation for Council's consideration at a future meeting. So, Mr. Bancroft, anytime you're ready.
Thank you, Your Worship, and members of Council. So this proposal was first presented at a public open house that was held on February 7th in alignment with the communications, community communications and engagement goal as outlined in the municipality's strategic plan. This proposal has been circulated to property owners within 120 meters of the subject property and to prescribed agencies under the Planning Act. It's also important to note that Middlesex County is the delegated approval authority for draft plans of condominium. And before the county can make a decision, this proposal must first be considered by Thames Centre Council and subject to a community engagement process. Just for background, as noted on the map on the screen, the subject property is just under 9 acres in size and it's located on the west side of Missouri Road, County Road 27, and on the north side of Thorndale Road, County Road 28. This property is currently used for agricultural purposes for the cultivation of field crops. It also contains a drive shed. Full municipal services are available in the area. These lands are also within the Thorndale settlement area and designated residential. They're also zoned a site-specific future development zone FD-4. Surrounding land uses, we've got agricultural land to the north as well as to the west. Also to the west, those lands are proposed to accommodate a sand and gravel pit. We've got industrial uses to the south on the south side of Thorndale Road. And also to the south of the subject property and also to the east, we've got existing residential uses on oversized residential lots. And then beyond that, further east on the east side of Missouri Road or east of Missouri Road, we've got a single detached dwellings that are part of the Trails at Y Creek subdivision. So the subject proposal, it is a proposed vacant land condominium. There are 91 units proposed to support townhouse dwellings. So off Missouri Road and aligned with Elliott Trail, there is a proposed future street that would provide 2 points of access for the condominium to support a private road network. Also, full municipal services, including municipal water, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers would be required for this development. And there's also at the southwest corner of the site, there is a proposed stormwater management facility. There's a series of studies that have been provided in support of this proposal, including a planning justification, servicing, geotechnical and hydrogeological, noise, as well as archaeological. Also, what is being applied for is not only this draft plan of condominium, but also a zoning bylaw amendment to rezone the property to a new category to allow townhouse dwellings. And this new category is a proposed site-specific residential third density R3 zone being requested. In terms of circulation comments from the county engineer, he has requested he's provided some pretty standard comments. First, that there be a requirement for a widening dedication, 18 meters from the center line of County Road 27 and County Road 28, if those rights of way are not already to that width. Also, a 0.3 meter reserve along the frontages of those roads, save and except for the proposed access. And that would restrict any access for the subdivision, or sorry, through this plan of condominium for that new road that is being proposed in alignment with Elliott Trail. Also, left and right turn lanes will be required at the access at County Road 27. Also, a requirement for a noise study and that the recommendations of the study be implemented at the satisfaction of the county engineer. Also, that grading and servicing plans be submitted to the county for review and approval. And also the requirement for entrance permits for any work being conducted within county road allowances. From Bell Canada, they've provided a condition of draft plan approval regarding that the owner convey any necessary easements that may be required, and also the need for Bell Canada infrastructure to be installed as part of this development. Also from Canada Post, they acknowledge that mail delivery will be provided through a centralized community mailbox setting. And they're also requesting standard developer requirements be implemented. And typically those are captured through a subdivision agreement. Also from the Thames Valley District School Board, They have no comments other than they have confirmed that students will be accommodated at the neighboring Western Surrey Public School. They also acknowledge that the board has requested an addition to the school through the funding program through the Ministry of Education and is currently awaiting that outcome. From the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, they have no objections. And from our drainage superintendent, he's noted that a sufficient drainage outlet will be required in order to safely discharge stormwater from the proposed site. Our Director of Public Works has no comments or concerns at this stage. And also same from our Chief Building Official. We have one written submission received from the public to date, Your Worship, from a James Iglesias, and those comments are appended to my report. So it's my recommendation, Your Worship, that my report be received and that for information, and that staff provide a subsequent report evaluating the said applications, taking into account all comments received from the public as well as agencies, along with a recommendation for council's consideration at a future meeting. I'm here to answer any questions, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Bancroft. Any additional information from either the applicant or the agent? Mr. Finlater.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think Mark's given a pretty good overview of what is being asked for here. So I'm just quickly going to go over the planning policy analysis for council. So in the provincial policy statement, settlement areas are identified as being in the area that would focus of growth and development will occur. These lands are within an identified settlement area, being the village of Thorndale. And the PPS also states that new development taking place in designated growth areas should occur adjacent to the existing built-up area and should have a compact form, and this development is consistent with that. In terms of the County Middlesex official plan, similar to the provincial policy statement, the County Middlesex identifies these lands as being in a settlement area. Thorndale is identified in the county plan as a community area, and the county official plan states that the majority of growth shall be directed to these designated settlement areas. And again, this development is consistent with the official plan policies of the County Middlesex. As Mark has pointed out in the Thames Center official plan, the subject lands are designated residential, and the designation permits a range of housing types. And this condominium development, in my opinion, conforms with the policies of the Thames Center official plan. Mark has already reviewed the proposed changes to the zoning bylaw to a site-specific third density residential. And what's being requested there is similar zoning regulations as other condominium developments that have taken place across Thames Center recently. Again, as Mark's pointed out, there's been a number of studies prepared and submitted in support of the application. Won't go over those again. But based on the results of those studies and the analysis in this report, it's my opinion that the condominium application and the rezoning application are both in the public interest and represent good land use planning. This opinion is supported by the following. The condominium application is consistent with the policies in the PPS. The condominium application conforms with the development policies of both the County of Middlesex and the Thames Center official plan. And the proposed development will provide attainable type housing, which is consistent with the provincial policy statement and the direction of the province. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Mr. Finlater. Anyone in the room who wishes to ask any questions? And no one online, Sarah?
There's no one online, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to council then. Are there any questions from the members of council? No? All right. Seeing none then, we'll move to close the meeting, the public portion of the meeting. There being no further discussion, the public meeting is now closed. Do I have a mover and a for the proposed recommendation to receive the report and for a subsequent report evaluating the applications to be provided at a future meeting. A mover is Deputy Mayor Smyber and seconded by Councillor Heeman. All in favor? You can't vote. All right, thank you, I guess. Yes. All right. That carries. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item 7.2, zoning bylaw amendment application Z 35-23, Linda Reed applicant, GSP Group Inc., care of Brandon Flewelling, agent, and the property is located at 222 Fairview Road. So go ahead, Alana, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you. So the purpose of this application is to rezone the subject property from the future development FD zone to the highway commercial HC zone to allow the construction of a building to be used as a market garden, which is otherwise not permitted under the existing zoning. The subject property is situated on the east side of Fairview Road and on the north side of Dundas Street, County Road 2. The lands contain a single detached dwelling serviced by a private well and septic system and are used for agricultural purposes in the form of field crop cultivation. The property is designated highway commercial according to the Thames Center official plan and as mentioned, zone future development. The applicant is proposing to establish a market garden use to allow the sale of fresh produce, pastries, meats, and cheeses within the proposed building. The proposed building would be a single-story structure and would have a floor area of approximately 446 square meters. It would be situated at the southwest corner of the property. Upon further review and in consultation with staff, the applicant's agent has amended their application to include a retail store as an additional permitted use in addition to the market garden use, since the market garden use definition only permits the sale of fruits, vegetables, and flowers, and the retail store would allow a broader range of items to be sold, including the sale of pastries, meats, and cheeses as originally intended. The highway commercial designation under Thames Center's official plan permits retail and service commercial uses that primarily serve vehicular traffic. Commercial uses are also encouraged to be located along arterial roads. As noted, the property is located at the northeast corner of Fairview Road and Dundas Street, with Dundas Street being an arterial road designed to facilitate high volumes of traffic. The Thames Center official plan provides criteria to evaluate zoning bylaw amendment requests. Staff are satisfied that the criteria has been met or is capable of being met as part of the site plan or building permit process. As noted in the report, the development will be subject to the site plan approval before building permits can be issued. This process would address aspects of the development such as the layout of the site, parking, drainage, etc., etc. In regards to the amended rezoning application, Section 3417 of the Planning Act states that where a change is made to a proposed bylaw after a public meeting is held, council shall determine whether any further notice is to be given. Staff is of the opinion that no further notice should be required, considering a retail store use would have less impact compared to the other uses that are already permitted under the HC zone, including a restaurant or automotive garage, gas station, etc. Based on the foregoing, the subject proposal is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms to the Middlesex County and Thames Center official plans. In regards to agency comments received, the county engineer, drainage superintendent, Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, and the chief building official advised no comment or objections. The director of public works advised upgrades to the southerly driveway, which would be used for the commercial use, will need to be upgraded. One public comment was received after the writing of the report from Mr. Biscaro related to the technical details of the proposal, such as concept design, parking, and stormwater management. A response was provided by staff. The technical details for this development will be addressed through the site plan approval process. Planning staff recommend the zoning bylaw amendment application as amended be approved in principle and that staff be directed to prepare the necessary zoning bylaw amendment for council's consideration at the next regular meeting, and that no further notice be required pursuant to Section 3417 of the Planning Act. Thank you. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Elena. Any additional information from either the applicant or the agent?
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, members of council and staff. My name is Brandon Flewelling, and I am the agent for the applicant. I think Elena's done a great job outlining the application, so I just wanted to let you know that we're here to answer any questions if you have any.
Anyone in the chambers with questions or comments on this? No one? Anyone online, Sarah?
Yes, Your Worship. I'm going to bring in Bruno Biscaro. Hi, Mr. Biscaro. Can you hear us? Mr. Biscaro, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Do you want to
Can you
go
hear me?
ahead? Yes, we can hear you. Do you want to go ahead with your question?
Well, I've submitted my questions previously and as outlined, I'm happy to await, I guess, site plan and details and that sort of thing to just understand what exactly is being built and proposed and what it will look like and how it will lay out.
Okay, all right then. Thank you. And that'll be part of the
Sure.
process. All right, then if there's no one else, then any questions from the members of council? No, seeing none? Then I will move to close this portion of the public meeting if there's no further discussion. And council can make their decision on the application. The recommendation is for approval of zoning amendment application Z 35-23 as included on the agenda, and that no further notice be required pursuant to the Planning Act. And do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Lockie and seconded by Deputy Mayor Smyburn. All in favor? Okay, that motion carries then. Thank you very much. So item number 7.3 is closed public meetings, that the planning public meetings adjourn at 5:21 p.m. in order to sit as a committee of adjustment under the Planning Act to consider the application listed on the February 26th, 24 council agenda. A mover and a seconder for this one, please. Councillor Lockie and Deputy Mayor Smyburn, all in favor? That motion carries then, thank you. All right, item number 8 on your agenda, Committee of Adjustment. 8.1, minor variance application A-A1-24, Steve Anyama, applicant, and the property is 4386 Westchester Burn. Overview then, Mr. Bancroft?
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is an application for minor variance to seek relief from the Thames Center Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw for a reduced interior side yard width to allow the expansion of an existing building. The property, as shown on the map on the screen, it's a 1 hectare parcel located on the east side of Westchester Bourne, County Road 74, just north of Dingman Drive. This property contains a residential use in the form of a single detached dwelling and an industrial use in the form of a custom shop operating as New Edge Cutting Tools Limited. This property is also serviced privately by a well and a septic system. And access is provided to this property to Westchester Bourne through a shared driveway with the property to the south. These lands are designated agricultural under the official plan, and they're also zoned site-specific agricultural A-16, which permits the existing land uses. These lands are also regulated by the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, given their proximity to Dingman Creek. Surrounding lands include agricultural to the east and west in the form of field crop production, residential to the north, and an industrial use to the south. The applicant is proposing to expand his business through the partial removal of the existing building with a larger addition. The existing building has a floor area of approximately 370 square meters, of which 190 square meters is to be retained, with a proposed 600 square meter addition totaling 790 square meters for the building as enlarged. The existing building has an interior side yard of 7.4 meters. So that's from the southerly lot line. Whereas the proposed addition would have an interior side yard of 6.2 meters. The applicant's unable to comply with the requirement, considering access and circulation of work between the two buildings require the proposed addition to be centered on the existing building. Complying with the required side yard would result in unusable space within the building. It's also important to note the committee, this one may trigger the fact that this property is also subject to a consent application, application B19-23, which was granted this past October, subject to conditions to allow a right-of-way easement to legally recognize the existing shared laneway. I've conducted my analysis, Your Worship, as outlined in my report, and I'm satisfied that the 4 tests used to evaluate minor variance applications has been met. That is, the variance is minor in nature, the variance is an appropriate use of the land. It also meets the intent of not only the official plan, but also of the zoning bylaw. In terms of circulation comments received from agencies, we have no issues identified or no comment or no objection from the county engineer, our drainage superintendent, and our director of public works. From the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, because these lands are regulated by the Conservation Authorities Act, they've noted that a Section 28 permit will be required before any construction can occur. I should also add that prior to obtaining a building permit, the applicant will also be required to apply for site plan approval, since site plan control applies for this property. In terms of public comments, no responses have been received from the public to date. So it is my recommendation, Your Worship, as outlined in my report, that this application for minor variance be approved, subject to the reasons outlined in my report. I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Bancroft. Okay. Anyone from either the applicant or an agent would like to make any additional comments? No? Okay. We don't have anyone either online, do we?
There's no one online, Your Worship.
Okay, then. Thank you. All right. Any questions on this matter from council? Committee, sorry. What would I do without the clerk? No comments or questions? All right, done. Recommendation for approval for minor variance application A1-24 as included on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom, did I overlook you?
No. I'd like to make that recommendation.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Heeman and seconded by Councillor Lockie. All in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, thanks, Mark. All right, an adjournment for the Committee of Adjustment, that the Committee of Adjustment adjourn at 5:28 p.m. and council reconvene its regular meeting, moved by Councillor Heeman and seconded by Deputy Mayor Smyburn. All in favor? And that carries as well. Thank you. Item number 9 on your agenda, 9.1. Adoption of the regular council minutes from February the 12th of 2024. A mover and a seconder, Deputy Mayor Smybert and Councillor Lockie. All in favor? Carried. Item number 10 on the agenda, consent agenda. Items listed under consent agenda are received for information in one motion. Council members may request that one or more items be separated for further action. The two in front of you initially, 10.1 and 10.2. Support 10.1 is support for comprehensive review of social and economic prosperity to go in line with other municipalities that have sent us correspondence. So I'll look for a mover and a seconder on that one, that the Council of the Municipality of Thames Centre supports consent item, agenda item 10.1, requesting that the province of Ontario commit to undertaking with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote the stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario. And that this resolution be sent to the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, the Honorable Peter Bethenfalvey, Ontario's Minister of Finance, Rob Flack, a local MPP, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. A mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Heeman and seconded by Deputy Mayor Smybert. All in favor? Comments? Certainly.
Just a quick comment, like I would be in support of this because I think that it's very difficult to fund infrastructure under these current conditions. And if the province wants us to be building more homes, and so does the federal government, I think we don't have a stable mechanism to fund infrastructure, considering the freeze on development fees. Only 90% of development fees for water and wastewater is borne by developers, and attainable housing potentially can have all development fees rebated. That puts us in a rather precarious situation. I understand the goal of home ownership and affordability, but if things aren't investigated and changed, then a lot of those costs will be borne by taxpayers and on water and wastewater rates. And I just don't think that's how we want to build in this province.
Thank you, Councillor Heeman. Did we would vote? Thank you. All right. Item number 10.2 from the County of Renfrew, rural and small urban municipalities, affordability of water and wastewater systems. That I'm looking for a motion and a seconder for that motion. It's appended to your, it's fairly long, it's appended to your agenda. A mover and a seconder for this one. Moved by Deputy Mayor Smybert and seconded by Councillor Lockie. All in favor? And that carries as well. So the next part is looking for approval for the consent agenda items 10.3 to 10.6 being received for information. A mover and a seconder for this. Councillor Lockie and Councillor Heeman. All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 11, reports of departments. 11.1, LS-005-24, Association of Municipalities of Ontario 2024 Conference. And I'm going to ask the clerk to present this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. The report gave the information, but basically we've got Council Policy CB-2.1, attendance at conference and conventions and seminars, and workshops. policy, and it states that you can, members of council may attend conferences and conventions as delegates of the municipality, subject to approval by council in the form of a resolution. So this is just asking for a resolution for the deputy mayor and the mayor to attend, who have indicated they wish to attend the Association of Municipalities of Ontario Conference in 2024. I also would like to point out that the policy also states that this policy should be reviewed annually prior to March 31st. So should council wish to direct staff to review and compare this with other municipalities, this might be a good time to do so.
Any questions from council? A motion? No?
I would move the recommended motion with the addition that we conduct a policy review on our conference policy.
Okay. So can we say that staff be directed to review the policy and report back to council then as part of the amended motion? A mover, Tom, and a seconder, Daniel Lockey. All in favor? Okay, that carries. Thank you. Reports of committees, item number 12 on your agenda. Items listed under reports of committees are approved by council in one motion. Council members may request that one or more items be separated for further action. A mover and a seconder that reports of committee agenda items 12.1 through 12.3 be approved as presented. Councillor Lockey and Deputy Mayor Smyberg, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Don't believe we have any unfinished business. And no new notices of motion or new business. All right, item number 16, bylaws. That bylaws 16-2024 through 18-2024 be adopted as presented and again appended to your agenda. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Heeman and Deputy Mayor Smyberg, all in favor? And motion carries. All right, item number 17 is the meeting schedule for the next regularly scheduled meeting of council is Monday, March the 11th, 2024 at 5 p.m. here in the chambers, followed by another one March 25th, 2024, also at 5 p.m. and in the chambers. A motion to adjourn. Councillor Lockey and Councillor Heeman, all in favor?